Time for another Ask a Sister. And this time looking at how has LGBTQ activism changed over the years. I think LGBTQ plus activism has taken the approach that we can't win equality overnight. And so what we almost have to do is accept that we have to push on certain topics at certain times. And so what we focus on day one, eventually we'll win that, but we then have day two and day three. I think it's fair to say that at the start of LGBTQ plus activism, it was mainly focused around the L and the G, pushing for lesbian and gays, mainly around decriminalisation. Then as we progress, we fight for equal age of consent. And as we're pushing for these things, we then end up pushing for our bisexual siblings as well. And again, recognising that, as well as lesbian and gay, bisexual people do exist, so we don't have bi-erasure. Small incremental steps. And in the UK, obviously, one of our biggest fights, Section 28 was a big thing about not teaching about deviant relationships. Thanks, Maggie Thatcher. We have a right to exist, we have a right to live, but we also have a right to be acknowledged and have that taught in schools so that people aren't growing up and going, what do you mean they're queer people? What's that? And then as we've won these battles, we've also developed our understanding of human sexuality and gender. And so we've expanded the acronym to include those people, like our aromantic people, our asexual people, our intersex people, our demisexual siblings, our pansexual siblings. There was a whole spectrum, and really trying to open that up as we're learning and changing so that our activism at the beginning, although focused on the L and the G, 40 odd years later, you're then looking at so many other people with different needs, but again, all wanting the same thing, which is to be treated with dignity and respect and have the same rights and privileges that everyone of any other gender or sexuality should have. These days, right now in 2024, we are in the thick of fighting for trans rights and trans recognition against hostile governments and hostile policies, making sure that they've got access to healthcare, making sure that gender recognition certificates are accepted and they're easy to access, making sure that our trans siblings aren't going to be attacked on the street just for being who they are. But in other parts of the world, again, there are still fights to be had for decriminalisation, for equal marriage, for being able to adopt, for being able to donate blood, to be able to serve your country. Although we're at different stages, we're all still fighting the fight. We just want to live our lives with dignity and respect and be who we are. As long as we're not hurting anyone with how we're living, we should be able to live in peace. And I think that is the same thing that has been at the beginning of the LGBTQ plus activism movement as it is today, and will be 20 or 50 years down the line. The LGBTQ plus activism movement will continue to change to meet the needs of its local communities and make sure it's fighting for the rights and continue to push. But the thing that connects them all from the beginning to the very end is the fact that we're fighting for true equality and to live with dignity and respect and to be able to just be who we are.